last 15.5 years, I've been with AMED in the role of working with behavioral health. And it's a great opportunity, it's a challenge, but in working there, I've been able to work with a lot of different organizations in the community and get reconnected to the community after being away from them. So I do appreciate it.
My name is Dana Despradel. I'm a clinical social worker at Counseling for Life, which is a private practice here in Anderson. I think personally the topic for tonight is very relevant to our community, and I know just growing up back in Richmond, Virginia, there was always this expectation of Thanksgiving and Christmas, and then I think once I had my own family, I realized you had to set realistic expectations of things. So I've kind of learned along with everybody myself what those holidays mean to me. But just professionally, I started out always in social work, and I've worked anywhere from vocational rehab to a hospital setting, working in the ER. I worked with transplant patients, and then I took a very long hiatus, a very long break to raise my children for quite some time. And then about 3.5 years ago, I decided to go back to work in private practice. So it's been a great journey.
I don't do well with microphones. Can you hear me? Okay. My name is Barbara Barn. I'm an advanced practice psychiatric nurse. I, over the years, have worked in inpatient psychiatric hospitals. I've done therapy. I've done a lot of work with older adults and have been active over the years with the Alzheimer's Association and do some speaking for them about various aspects of dementia. I'm also a Red Cross volunteer and do health services and disaster mental health. And talk to me if you want to come volunteer. That's it for now.
I'm Mike Johnston. I'm the Director of Spiritual and Palliative Care at AMED Health. I went to seminary in Richmond and did my clinical training at the Medical College of Virginia, so my colleague down there from Richmond probably knows where I spend a lot of time.
And me too. My husband and I both are affiliated with
Okay, very good. How did I get here? Kurt asked me, and I'm not sure where I'm at. This is a different holiday for me from the standpoint that I am experiencing loss. My father died in April of this year, and my 11-year-old golden retriever died 7 weeks ago. So this is the first time I've gone through that type of loss at a holiday, and I'm trying to learn from this experience. I've done a fair amount of grief counseling with folks in the past as a part of my work, and have ideas about what may be helpful from a spiritual standpoint as one approaches grief and loss in the holidays. And now I have to see if I can put into practice what I've preached. So that's going to be part of my journey during this holiday season. But I'm glad to be here with you, and I hope to learn with you as we look at coping skills and ways to carry forth and see about getting through, because I think that's the thing to do, is to try to get through. Anyway, thanks for having me.
I think, did everybody get a handout on a holiday stress relief cake? A few years back, one of the other employees and I had the great opportunity to have a few hours right before Christmas to spend some time together. And we decided we wanted to pull some things together that we could give out to anybody. So Kelly Barker, a nurse in mental health at AMED, and now is working with the rehab program at AMED, she and I got together and we created this, and we share it every year with as many people as we can. So I wanted you to have that, because it has a lot of great things in it that will help you. You know, if we look at triggers for seasonal depression or the holidays, it's the things that we talk about, the grief, the losses. the overcommitments that we make. Saying we're going to go to all these parties and all these events and do all these things for our churches and our community, where we forget about ourselves. It's also about the loneliness. Because sometimes we forget there are some people who do not have anyone and no support. It's also the triggers of how we have too much commercialization of the holidays and forget what the true spirit of Christmas is about. And that's when we did the stress relief cake, that's one of the things we want to do is try to bring it back. And we get pretty exhausted and tired, and one of the things we know, if we get really tired and exhausted and we put ourselves on the back burner, then we can have that tendency to get real blue that can lead to a depression. But on and on it goes that you can say in terms of triggers. I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about that, but just wanted to mention those few things. The other thing is just giving so much of ourselves can be overwhelming at times. Keep that in mind. We talked about this a little bit the last time. Similar things will happen when our days get shorter. You get the seasonal affective disorder. And I don't know if y'all noticed at the end of October, 1st of November, when we changed, did you notice? It was hard to get up in the mornings, at least for a lot of us. I know it was for me. And the tendency to want to sleep more. And the difficulty having a fog in the brain and just trying to think clearly. And then it takes a couple of weeks, you start feeling a little bit better. But that's part of that seasonal affective disorder. And we have to watch that as those days shorten and how that affects us. Because that brings us right into that holiday season. And so you have that on top of everything else, and some people do have that seasonal affective disorder. And we talked about this other therapy, where you use light therapy to help with treating that type of depression. So you keep that in mind, where you can just get before lesson lights or sunlight and just our sun lamp and do 30 minutes in the morning, about light, and 30 minutes in the evening, and that will help tremendously. So just keep that in mind, because you may not only have the seasonal depression that's associated with the holidays, but you can also have that seasonal affective disorder. Let's look at the stress relief cake, because that's what we're really here to talk about. It's more about some tips to how to keep balance and how to get that relief. If you look at the first one, it says, start with a large bowl of the reasons you celebrate the holiday season. I think that's pretty important. Sometimes I think we have to step back and we have to look, what do I want out of this holiday season? What's important to me? What's my priority? But you always mentioned about how to be around certain family members. There may be family members that have been very hurtful, have said hurtful things in the past, but it's the expectation that you're to be there and to be part of the family and to participate in whether social events or activities you have together. So that's one of the things you need to look at, how you can set limits in that situation, or can you go and just spend less time at a certain social event and leave early if need be, even with the family. I think that's pretty important. But prioritize what's important to you. We always talk about exercise and eating in moderation. I think Craig was talking about how Thanksgiving went, and we all do that. We tend to engage in eating more. And when we eat more, have you noticed how it changes your mood? What does it do to your mood?
Gotta go to the bathroom.
Okay. Tendency to go to sleep, right?
Yeah.
What else? If you get a lot of sugar, you might get this quick energy, and then you have a quick dip in your mood. Have you ever noticed that? So you have to keep that eating things in moderation, even during the holiday season. That's a very, very important part of things. Tell me a little bit from your perspective. What's important to you during the holidays? What's the most important thing that you need to celebrate?
Jesus' birth.
Jesus' birth. Okay. And keep that in mind, because that's what's important to a lot of us. Sometimes we lose sight of it.
That you are still here.
That you're still here. Okay.
Love.
That's good.
Love.
I'm sorry.
Love.
Love. So that's a good one, Bitsy, because love's about what? It's about doing for others. It's about being kind to others. And as you look through this, if you think about that, well, how can I show that kindness and love to others around me? Whether it's family or friends, or maybe somebody you don't know.
Maybe somebody you don't know.
That's right.
I want to make you laugh. I met this girl. I called her my daughter today. When I first met her, she was on the other side of the road. She was my special. Somebody told me, she's a prostitute. And she's on drugs and everything. I said, that's all right. That's all in the Bible and everything. And this other person looked at me and said, she's a white female. I said, cut your blood. It's all gonna be me. The next day, that girl, still my daughter. She's not on drugs, she got her kids and everything.
A lot to celebrate. A lot to celebrate. It's a fabulous story. That goes to what you're talking about a little bit about memories, positive memories and positive thoughts. During this season, have you noticed how you think, and as we get older, and I'm going through that stage of getting older, I notice how I think about the things of the past, the yesteryear. All the great Christmases I had with my parents and my brother and other family members. But then things change as we get older.